All right. And now to see if it went live. All right. We are live. Awesome. I'm going to close a bunch of these unneeded links right now. Need that one. Need that one. Don't need this one. Okay. I got it all. What's going on, folks? We're getting everything rolling. We are joined, as you can see by the title, we're joined by Chasing Green tonight. So we're going to go ahead and share some links, and then we'll get into recording the podcast. Do you want me
Let the link sharing begin. If you're just jumping into the live stream, you can share the link too.
Yeah. It's a great idea.
Just jumping into the live stream.
Oop, got that go. Fixed it. All right. What's up, Scott? Thanks for joining us.
Is that Scott Hill?
Yes, it is.
He's a man.
I'm going fishing with him.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Just got word that I am. So
He comments after he's like the Tim Cochran level where I feel like I actually know him kind of, you know? So I was just thinking the other day that there's like been very few people. I'm like, hey, open invite, come on. That's what I did with Tim Cochran. Scott Hill was about to get that open invite. Just like, hey, you ever come down here, you got a spot.
awesome.
And some people just, you start to communicate on social media so much that it's like you cross over, I feel like you kind of know them weirdly.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
In fact, he can probably hear this. So, Scott, open invite. If you want to come and hunt down in Kansas with me, and you have an open invite.
Let me know. I'll come too.
I can't say I'm about ready to do it where you can hear it and then not do it.
He's on his way. So, all right. Did you send it out to the fellowship yet?
Not yet. I'm heading that way now. I just did my community time.
Nice.
They're on hardcore too. Make sure the admin there doesn't get his panties in a bunch. I kind of needs to relax a little bit.
Let me see. There we go. Elliot, keep talking. I got a comment that we had some feedback from you on the live stream. I don't have it on the podcast side. Are you hearing an echo on your end, Elliot?
I'm not hearing an echo, no.
Okay, just making sure we have everything right before we go. How about you, Jake?
No, I'm good, man. It sounds good
Okay.
on my end.
Let's ask the live stream. Hey, live stream, are we getting any echo from Elliot? I just think I fixed the problem, but I want to confirm that the live end, there's an echo on YouTube. Is there still one, Jake? Test, Elliot, go ahead and say something.
Hello. Testing. Check. Is there an echo?
What's going
Hello.
on, Magnolia Flyways? What's going on, Jake? What's going on, Kevin? I will not roll my canoe. I hope not.
You did last year.
When?
Makes you think you wouldn't do it this year.
When did I roll my canoe?
Well, you sunk it. It's not pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So is there still an echo? Not bad. Kevin, it sounds fine. We're gonna start rolling if it is.
I got the links up.
Awesome. Let's put one on Ducks Gun Chronicles too. All right. Let me confirm with everybody else. Still good. Elliot is over the phone for the podcast, like what you guys hear in the live stream. But as far as the actual podcast, he records it on his end. So yeah. So okay, I've got confirmation it's better. So let's go ahead and jump on into the podcast. What do you think, Elliot? You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, gonna roll the intro and then we'll be off.
Hey guys, I'm Jordan Fromer. I believe in hunting hard, hunting smart, and having a fun time while doing it. And shooting limits, well, that's just the icing on the cake. I revel in the journey just as much as the successes it brings. From ducks to dogs to decoys and guns, we'll be talking tactics, strategies, and what it takes to get the job done. Load up and take aim. This is the Duck Gun Podcast.
What's going on, folks? Thanks for joining me on another episode of the Duck Gun Podcast. I'm Jordan from Ducks Gun Chronicles. Got my co-host alongside me, Elliot Graybeard. How you doing tonight, Elliot?
I'm doing great. We just is our double header this evening, second podcast, and I'm excited, ready to go. Talk to Chase and Green and see what they've been doing, and that's a successful YouTube channel for as young as it is.
Oh yeah. So our guest tonight is Jake from Chasing Green. So how you doing tonight, Jake?
Pretty good, man. How about y'all?
Doing great. Thanks for coming on. So I reached out to you sometime this year. I can't remember when. It's been a little while, and it back and forth trying to get this podcast to happen. I think it was mostly my fault for it not happening sooner, but glad we finally got our schedules to line up and we got you on here.
Me too, man. I sure appreciate y'all having me on, and glad we could finally link up.
Awesome. Glad to hear it, and we're definitely excited to talk about everything you got going on and hunting in Arkansas and yeah. So go ahead. Let's kick this thing off by go ahead and let the people know who you are, what you got going on, and all that stuff.
Well, my name's Jake Maxwell. I'm with Chasing Green. Me and my partner, Glenn Adams, we kind of started it 3 years ago, I think, 3 seasons. And we've just been chasing ducks, trying to grow, and I guess doing what we always did, but filming it now. So
awesome. Yeah, definitely cool. I know I started seeing kind of your channel pop up. I think the first time I was kind of seeing that was last year. But yeah, and then this year I really took the dive in, and I think I watched, unless I missed one, but I think I watched the whole season all the way through. So definitely,
I sure appreciate it, man.
Definitely, you got some good content. It's cool seeing somebody from Arkansas putting out these kind of homegrown, real hunting videos.
We sure appreciate it, man. It was some hard work, but hopefully the end result is worth it. So
awesome. Yeah, I think it definitely is. So I know for me, at least, all things aside, it's really cool to see kind of like Elliot and I have talked about this a lot, but like it's almost like a journal. You can go back and look at it and his memories. I mean, 3 years from now or 4 years or 5, however many years, it's going to be so cool to go back and have that backlog and see those hunts and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And that's, it's definitely really cool.
Yeah. Me and Glenn talk about that all the time too. It's kind of, we don't even keep journals anymore because our video, is pretty much our journal, but it's so much better than pictures or writing it down. It's, something you can always go back and look at. I always wish I could have went back and seen my dad's stuff and everything they were doing. And now hopefully, we'll have this forever. So it's, even if we wasn't doing YouTube, it's still cool just to have.
Yep. I definitely agree on that too. And that's something I've mentioned too. Same thing. I'd give anything to see like, what it was like when my grandpa hunted and all that. And he was a big time hunter and did a lot of cool things. So it'd just been really cool to see. He chased upland, and he had all these dogs he'd tell me stories about. So yeah, same thing on that. It's like someday it's like somebody like it's gonna be weird that your kids can go back and see so much of your hunting, you know, if they wanted to, you know, all those videos out there. So yeah, definitely cool on that. And then Elliot, he moved the second question, and he wants to know if you've ever crapped your pants.
No, not that I can recall. If I did, I don't remember. So.
Well, it must be a while because Jordan can tell you the exact time in which he crapped his pants. It's been very recent.
Very recent.
On a serious note, Jordan trying to derail us with kindergarten humor.
Okay.
On a serious note, I'm curious, how did you guys, so you and your buddy started filming, what caused you to do that? I mean, is it something you decided together, and what was your goal when you decided to jump into it?
Well, honestly, we've always kind of wanted to do it ever since we met each other, which was over a decade ago. So I've always wanted to do it since I was watching the shows I watched as a kid, Primo's, Duck Commander. It was just something we always wanted to do. And so we just seen that opportunity present itself with YouTube, which was kind of just blowing up when we first got started. We seen what was going on in other industries like the fishing industry and decided this would be the best route for us to kind of pursue what we always wanted to. So that's kind of how we got into it. We just decided to go for it, and our goal was just to grow it and hopefully make a living doing what we love and kind of teach people what not to do most of the time, but maybe every once in a while what to do.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's what it's all about. I think, there's the real niche kind of in the YouTube thing, and it's that it's real, so it's not all sunshine and daisies like you see on some of the very high produced, high end, big production companies. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, exactly, man.
Where they have 7 episodes and it's like their 7 best hunts, which are just way different than real everyday hunting. Yeah.
YouTube's really kind of just taken over the whole industry, in my opinion. I can't even go back and watch those shows like you're talking about anymore. It's not the same. It's a perfect opportunity though for people like us that are just trying to get their hunts out there and just kind of get involved in the community. That's another good thing about YouTube is, it helps you build a good community with your fans and with other duck hunters, and helps you meet new people. And that really wasn't the case, back in the day when they just had the outdoor channel and stuff.
Yep. So
one thing I love about you guys' videos is that you really, really want to let the birds work. And I think that not nearly as many people do that as I wish would do it, where it's like, a group swings through, you don't have to pull the trigger the first time at 30 yards, and you guys really make a point to want to work them and get them down in, and that's so refreshing to see.
Well, I'm glad it kind of comes through, because that's a big deal to us. I mean, that's what we consider duck hunting. I mean, our whole deal is to land big groups and have them in your face. And I mean, if we wanted to pass shoot, we would hunt doves and shoot skeets. I mean, we like duck hunting, and that's what we call duck hunting. And it is kind of missing out there right now, it seems, but that's another good thing about YouTube. You get the opportunity to maybe teach guys who don't get the opportunity to hunt with veterans and who are shooting those pass shots. And not that we never have or don't on some hard days, but we definitely are about landing ducks on the water, and because that's how we grew up doing it. That's how my dad and his group done it. I mean, that's the only way I knew how to duck hunt. So
yeah, I realized that when I was watching a video. I haven't watched all of your videos, or probably only watched about 25% of them, but I didn't even know of you guys until recently. I think that actually made a comment like, this is the first video of yours I've seen. I've watched more since then. And you guys were, I think it was like a green wing teal beat down or something, and you guys were in, there's quite a few guys in a blind, but there was a big group of teal that swung through at about 35 a couple of times, and then ended up you guys not even getting shooting. And I don't know who it was, but one of the guys, a shot caller in the blind, was kind of apologizing for it, but making the same time saying, well, we just want them, we want them down. And that was when I was like, okay, these guys are like-minded. It's like, even in a big group, because if you're in a big group and you're a shot caller, there's a lot of pressure to make a call at those swing birds. But, just the fact that you guys, the whole goal is not to shoot ducks. The whole goal is to kill ducks right in the decoys. And that's just hats off to you guys.
Exactly. It's harder in that kind of situation, when you're in a wide open field like that. It's hard to get them to do right at that particular spot you're talking about. It's always a struggle. But I mean, the way I look at it is you could shoot them in the wrong way and kill one or two, but after you killed so many, I mean, that's not going to stick with you. But when you land the whole group and you really do it to them the right way, that's something that keeps you going back and that you remember forever, So it's worth the risk, I guess you could say to me. I'd rather risk not getting a shot and, doing it in a memorable way versus, killing 4 or 5 or 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, Elliot's actually got a little bit of a nickname here lately. It's Full Choke Outdoors, so there's even a song about it, but,
I haven't heard it.
Well, I'll hook you up later on. But yeah, no, that's definitely cool to hear about working them in. I'll say that I'm definitely not as conservative as Elliot, but I'm definitely more conservative than the average hunter, I would say. But it's definitely hard.
Jordan, you're conservative enough that we can hunt together, and that's good. That's all I ask for. Because I don't know if you guys at Chase and Green have ever been in a situation where you're hunting with someone you don't know that well, and their shot selection is just totally opposite of yours. That's a bad hunt day.
Yeah.
Oh, it will ruin a hunt day. Most of the guys now that were older kind of are part of our core crew, and they know the deal. We do get some complaining sometimes because me and Glenn, when they're not quite finishing, and we could have shot them, people start complaining after about the third group. But like, man, we do it this way every day. What did you expect?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But no, we've kind of got a core group now, and that's not as bad. But we've been a part of those hunts where you just kind of wish you hadn't even went because people want to shoot them at 60 yards or whatever,
Yeah, that's definitely a no-go. I would say it's definitely hard on the slow days not to shoot those passing shots for me, but I definitely, I'm not doing any 60-yard stuff, that's for sure. I just want to clarify when I was saying I'm less conservative than Elliot. Yeah. It means it's like I'm okay with shooting like 25 to 30-yard shots, but
well, it's it's kind of one thing. It's one thing to do that on private or something like that, but when you're on public and you have groups all around you and you're doing that, I mean, not only are you hurting yourself, but you're hurting everybody around you. And so that's another reason why we don't do it. I mean, if we're going to shoot, we want to make sure we're shooting something that's worthy of shooting versus messing everybody else up. And I mean, here in Arkansas, it's tight, packed tight with other hunters. So you got to kind of be somewhat respectful, or at least try to be. So
yeah, it definitely makes sense on that for sure from that perspective.
Well, there's always days when you decide, hey, they're not going to finish, so we're going to have to start taking them at 30. I mean, there's days where we all do that, where they're not bad shots, but you just have to realize, well, on this day, we may have to change our shot selection a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of a weakness for us, but because we usually wait too late, and and then we should have been doing it earlier. But yeah, we have those days as well. But we don't like to do it, but we will.
Now, Elliot, don't get upset when I'm going to tell another story about you.
As long as it's not a lie.
We had one.
We had to tell lies.
I don't tell lies. That's a lie right there. But we had one land in the decoys, and Elliot didn't let me shoot it.
Must have had a more.
Which one was that? I don't remember.
You didn't have the camera rolling. You said we're going to shoot our limit anyway.
Oh yeah, I did. Well, I'm sure that it was. I thought we were going to shoot our limit. I mean, you've got those days you're like, okay, the limit's going to happen. Don't shoot that one. Let's get set up and do it right.
Yeah, yeah. On this particular hunt, just to give you a little background there, Jake. We switched spots because our first hole froze up. We moved to where the birds were sitting, flushed them all up, and literally as we were like trying to set up, like birds were just landing on us, and we shot it. We shot some, right? I think, and then you're like, Elliot,
yeah, a couple.
You're like, let's get the stuff rolling. I'm like standing there as like the greenhead lands in front of me at like 10 yards, and I was like, it was all I could do to not pull the trigger. But this fat winter January greenhead. And but yeah, then the ice hole froze up on us. Like Elliot said, I mean, at that point we saw thousands of ducks, and we thought we were going to shoot the limit. So I'm just poking a little fun at Elliot. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump back a little bit. How did you get started in duck hunting?
Well, I mentioned it earlier. My dad, he was a hardcore duck hunter, and that was kind of his passion and what he did. So for my first birthday, he got me a duck call, so, and by 2 or 3, he was floating me out there on the decoy bag. So as long as I can remember, I've pretty well been going when I can with him, and it just kind of grew from there.
Awesome.
Definitely. I was very blessed, though, to have a dad that would take me every time he went. And that's key to getting kids involved, And everywhere they went, they drug me along.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. For sure. And so I guess, kind of getting on that, and, I think that speaks a lot about the Arkansas duck hunting, how hardcore your dad was getting you into it. But, give us a little bit of background. I mean, everybody's heard of Stuck Ark in Arkansas that duck hunts, but let's hear about Arkansas duck hunting.
Man, it's a lot more diverse than people think. A lot of people just think of the timber, but it's a part of the culture here, just as far as duck hunting as a whole. I mean, a lot of kids grew up like I did, going before they could even walk. It's a part of life here, and I mean, we have over 100,000 duck hunters in the state. It's a lot of duck hunters for such a small area, but it's great, and it's kind of in a bad state right now, in my opinion, just because it's a lot of complaining and a lot of pointing fingers and a lot of we need to fix this and change that, but overall it's awesome. I love being from here and hunting here, and the amount of public land we got, just from what I've heard from other people in other states, we're very blessed to have a lot of natural rivers and things that ducks just have always used, and we've taken advantage of that, and we have a lot of public land to choose from, so that's a great thing to have.
So do you prefer like the timber or the rice fields, or what do you prefer?
See, what we hunt the most, and it's kind of changed since we started filming, is really more of what we call, I guess, swamp. Or you could call it a marsh, I guess. Well, it's more just beaver ponds, buckbrush, willows, dead timber, stuff like that. That's what I grew up hunting, and that's what me and Glenn have hunted for a long time. And we do hunt a lot of timber. We hunt rice fields and fields the least. I mean, we just don't hunt much private, and there's really no public, field agricultural options in Arkansas. They're starting to do a program now where they're leasing rice fields for people to hunt, but we hunt, fields maybe 5% of the time. Most of it is, like I said, those beaver stuff done by beavers and timber. That's pretty much the majority of our hunting, and that's what we like to do. Fields are just long shots and hard to get them to do right. We will do it when they're thick, but we don't prefer to hunt fields.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think if I was ever to hunt in Arkansas, the timber is, one of our questions we ask guests a lot is like, what is like your dream hunt or something, something along those lines, or what's your favorite style of hunting? When we talk to a lot of these guys that have traveled all across the country, and I mean, it's one of the main answers for sure, if not 90% of the time, maybe 75% of the time, it's the flooded timber. So something I've never experienced, and it's just, I think it just has that name where it's kind of something that's really, really specific to the Arkansas area, maybe some regions around it, where you guys can consistently get out on those type of hunts compared to anywhere else in the country. So I think that's kind of the allure that a lot of people see in Arkansas.
For sure, it's special, and that makes up probably at least 75% of all of our public land options. We have a lot of timber, which I don't know if you have heard. There's a lot of controversy over that right now because of just flooding it over and over again. As they realize it's starting to cause a lot of damage, and so we're kind of in flux on that. Hopefully, nothing drastic happens in the future, and we always have that opportunity. But I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah. No, we had someone on recently talking about that within the last year, and yeah, it definitely seems like, hopefully it's an issue they can resolve, and you guys can keeping on with all the flooded timber hunting.
Yeah, I hope so. I think everybody wants to, as far as the hunters, do the right thing and get it taken care of, but when you start talking about possibly not flooding or something like that, which they're not at this point, you just get a lot of angry people. So I don't know how they're going to walk that line, but I hope they figure out a way to do it, but still provide the public land hunt.
Yeah. So I guess the next thing to talk about on there, is the regulations they got. So didn't they implement some type of, probably talking about angry people again, but some type of regulation for out-of-state hunters and having just specific times that they could come opposed to any time of the year?
On state WMAs, they implemented that. You can still come hunt private, and you can still hunt national wildlife refuges or any federal land. You just can't hunt state WMAs, but certain specific blocks that they've made for out-of-staters. And just in all of our experience, I mean, we travel all over state. We don't see a big problem with that, but I guess some people did. I mean, we want people coming here. It's good for the economy. It's good. I mean, people should be able to experience this once-in-a-lifetime deal, And like I said, it didn't hurt us any, so I don't really know where that came from. I'm sure it's from two of our bigger WMAs that get the most pressure. A lot of those guys complain, and we just had several bad years in a row, and people are just starting to, we got to do something different,
Yeah. And I think everybody. Yeah. No, go on. Continue. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the weather's not been bringing the ducks down, and what ducks are here getting a lot of pressure, which we're not experiencing that. That's kind of one thing we're trying to do with our YouTube channel is if you get out there and you travel far enough, you work hard enough, and just keep at it, you're going to run into them. And because, I mean, it's just whatever you look at, Facebook or anything, just people are constantly complaining. And kind of like everything you see going on everywhere else in the world is kind of infiltrated duck hunting as well. So
yeah, people
are just divided and complaining, and it's unfortunate, but we're trying to show that just get out there and do your thing and you'll be okay.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I guess one thing that kind of stands out in your videos is at the intro you always have some type of scripture verse, and I would say that's more and more becoming more and more less accepted and less I guess popular. I don't know if that's the right word in today's world. So I guess you want to share your thoughts on that?
Sure, man. Yeah, I was just super lost until I was about 21, 22, and I had a buddy that kept speaking the gospel to me. And before I was saved, I ran real hard in the opposite direction, and I'm kind of a guy of extremes. So when I come to Christ, I ran real hard in his direction, and we kind of devote. I mean, we feel like this whole thing's God. Me and Glenn talked about that. We kind of gave this YouTube channel and everything to him. So we devote the first little bit of your video is the best part. That's where you got the most viewers. So we give the first and the best to him and try to do all we can through the rest, whether it be talking about it or something of that nature. But it's very important to us. And without that aspect, I mean, I don't even think we'd be doing it, because that's one of our main goals, is just to, I guess, just shine the light and just be that good example. We have a lot of people that comment to us and say, you know, our whole family can watch your stuff. There's not a lot of cussing and this and that. We really appreciate it. So we kind of just want to be that, because like you said, there's not a lot of it out there anymore. And it's hard to find content that everybody in the family can watch and come together over. And we're super pumped and hyped to be able to provide that. And hopefully we can continue to do that.
That's definitely something that is needed, and it's great to see from you guys' channel. Honestly, Jordan and I have talked about this a lot. There's bad influence all over on YouTube, and that's on and off the waterfowl community. But some of what is being taught to our young waterfowlers is not what we would consider the right way you should do it. And you guys are doing that, and then you add in the scripture that you guys are adding in. You guys are just welcome addition to the YouTube waterfowl community. I'll say that.
Man, we really appreciate it. That's the kind of feedback we really, you know, care about, and it's so awesome to hear. And we just really appreciate it, the kind words. And I totally agree with you, though. It's a landscape littered with stuff I wouldn't want my kids watching, or my young duck hunter growing up, you know, seeing. And there's definitely other good examples out there, though. We like Joel Strickland, and, you know, he's a good guy. And there's a lot of good guys. Y'all are good guys, and hopefully we can.
He's a good Christian man, too.
That's what I've gathered from watching them. And you can just kind of see it coming through in them, you know. And so hopefully we can fill that void and teach the next generation how to at least do it somewhat in the proper way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing that Elliot and I have talked about too, kind of with that and in duck hunting. And there's a lack of mentorship, and really, you know, that kind of stuff even starts out beyond duck hunting as far as, you know, a person's character and moral fiber. But, you know, as well as that with duck hunting, I think there's more and more duck hunters that don't start out how you started out, with your dad teaching you the way of duck hunting. And, you know, there's just less of that. So it is really cool to see good examples of people duck hunting the I don't know if you want to call it the right way or but you know,
sure.
You know.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. That's one of the great things of YouTube. It offers that educational, you know, opportunity to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to get it. I think Dr. Duck and his crew do a good job of that, teaching people to be respectful on public land and do it the right way. And I'm sure it's got to be having a positive impact, and hopefully, which, you know, it's not as bad as some people make it out to be, in my opinion, on public ground. But you hear horror stories, especially in Arkansas, of just crazy incidents with people. But we've been very blessed to not ever have that. I mean, as long as you're respectful to people and you know, treat people how you'd want to be treated, and not come from an angry perspective right off the bat like some people do, it kind of de-escalate things, and you can work together instead of working apart. I mean, yeah. Here you have a lot of that competition vibe, and that's okay, and we're okay with that. But it's always better to work together versus, you know, getting into arguments and fights out there on the water like you hear about sometimes. I don't know if y'all have those problems where y'all are or not, but there's been some wars go down in Arkansas.
Kind of touching on that respect thing you're saying. I mean, I definitely think it's important for all of us to lean hard in the respect, like towards the respect way, especially with what we're seeing going on nowadays in culture, which is weird to say, but that's the truth, where it's the exact opposite, where there's zero respect in what you're seeing going on around the country right now, for sure. So it's like, do we ever want to see that in duck hunting community? Like, let's do our best to lean hard the other way, because we don't want to see that.
Absolutely not. I totally agree. I mean, it's really, you got to come from the thought process that we're all kind of on the same team here, and we don't need infighting, whether that be on big issues or just out there in the field. I mean, at least in our opinion.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I have to rein Elliot in on a lot of stuff, so, you know. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into the lightning round. So, lightning round, quick questions, quick answers, helps us get to know you better as a duck hunter. And we haven't done this for a while on the podcast, but I'm sure all our longtime listeners remember this one. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So what kind of gun do you shoot?
Beretta, A300.
And what kind of ammo?
Federal Speed Shock.
And what size shot for ducks?
Typically number 3s.
And what size shot for geese?
Number 2s.
And do you shoot 2 3/4, 3-inch, or 3.5-inch shells?
3-inch.
Beard or no beard?
Beard.
Face paint or face mask?
Neither, typically.
Let's see.
But if I had to pick, face paint.
Favorite terrain to hunt, or favorite area, type of hunting?
Dead timber that's been killed by beavers.
Okay. Elliot, what am I missing
Choke.
on here?
What choke is he running?
Oh yeah, what choke are you running? This is, you answer with care. I'm just kidding.
Pattern master.
As far as what restriction level?
Full.
There you go. And you're getting yourself in
He
some
almost
hot
got
water.
every answer right on the speed round. Almost every answer he got correct.
What I miss?
It's all right. We'll get back. Let's finish the lightning round and then we'll get to it. Spinner or no spinner?
I can't use spinners in Arkansas, so no
Really?
spinner.
I didn't know that.
Or at least on public ground.
New fact for me today.
No electronic decoys whatsoever.
Awesome. So you use jerk rig?
Yes.
Motion ducks?
Yeah, just jerk rigs and standard decoys.
Okay.
Kicking the water.
Cool. Elliot, what am I missing from there? Anything?
I think you got it.
All right. Real quick, I'm pausing the podcast recording, but I need to give a shout out because I just got my first super chat in the live stream from Elliot, and then followed it up by the Alaskan Viking. So big shout out to you. Chief needs some mac and cheese. I don't think he's ever had some, but I will take that super chat and buy him some mac and cheese.
You got to video it and put it on Fellowship of the Duck Gun.
There we go. Stay tuned for some mac and cheese. I'll even eat some too. So yeah, jumping back into it. So,
I got a question for him. I'm curious about.
We got to talk about this full choke first, though, Elliot. Is that the question?
Okay. No.
So it's like you ever seen like Tekken or whatever, like any of those fighting games? Just Elliot and Jake now in their fighting stances. So Elliot is a huge proponent of shooting skeet choke or less. Like sometimes he even unscrews his choke and just takes it out of the gun.
There's a lie. There's a lie. He's lied.
I don't think
he said he never lied. Right there.
When it's that obvious, does it really count as a lie when everyone knows that what you're saying isn't true? I'm just curious. So
probably not.
But yeah. So Elliot loves shooting as wide open of a pattern as possible because he loves getting the birds in close. And you love getting in the birds in close as well, but you shoot a full choke. So let's go ahead and we're putting you in the hot seat. So what's your reasoning for the full choke?
Well, we've always hunted in bigger groups as far as hunters, at least 4 or 5 usually. And me and Glenn both kind of shoot the high birds, even though we're getting them in there close. On a big group, you'll have some right in the decoys and some a little further back. And I've just always shot the ones, or tried to anyway, shoot the higher birds and the ones getting out. And I've shot other chokes before, and I don't like chasing crippled greenheads. and a full choke kind of eliminates that for us most of the time.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of our reasoning for it.
So,
but
we've never heard that reason for a full choke. That's interesting.
Yeah, that I will say.
I say the first time that I hunted in a big group was in Arkansas this year. I went to Joel Strickland's lodge, and I mean, we typically in my life it's been a group of 2, and 4 for me feels big, and 5 and 6 is like around here. I won't hunt 5. Every now and then if I have to, but like maybe once a year. It just is too big, and so being down in Arkansas and hunting with Joel and having 6 guns in a blind, I can totally relate to what you're saying, shooting the high birds. The problem I had was they say, it's like as soon as they say take them, I feel like you have to be a quick shot McGraw to shoot a bird. And so I end up rushing my shot and missing. And so I can totally get what you're saying about picking birds like that.
Yeah, it helps. It you need a couple of guys in the group doing that. I don't know what it is about Arkansas, but that's probably average group size. I'd say 6. I mean, we've hunted 12 before. It's just, I guess it's how it's always been done. But you need a couple guys shooting those high birds, and because most people are going to go for those pretty ones right in the middle, and you don't need everybody going there.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective for sure. So, do you stick with the full choke when it's just like a 2-man hunt, or?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Pretty much all the time, man. It does everything I need it to. People don't like it, but we water swat a lot, so we just, it's not a problem when you shoot them in the head.
Yeah,
but
that's true. So I've
honestly, we spent a lot of time on that topic of water swatting, and we are not anti. We don't do it a ton, but we're not anti-water swatting.
Man, I always just say it's like the sport to me is not shooting him, it's tricking him. And if I can get him in the decoys, that's my goal. Once he's in there, I'm ready to take care of him as efficiently as possible, and that's the most efficient way.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah,
but we get a little bit of hate on it every once in a while. But.
Oh yeah, for sure. But kind of on that full choke thing, I will kind of, say that I took Elliot's lead on that. I mean, he's been somewhat of a mentor to me in my duck hunting. So for the majority of my hunting career, I've done the modified game. And then last year, a little bit, I kind of experimented with full choke. And I mean, I still feel like I don't 100% know what I'm going to do as far as like, I had a stretch where I'm like, man, full choke's awesome. Like I had a few birds I just plastered, dead, like you said, dead as a doornail. But then it's like I started missing. I'm like, well, maybe I need a modified. So I don't know. I really don't know yet.
It takes some getting used to for sure, man. At least a whole season on it.
Yeah.
It changes, pretty much everything about your shooting.
I feel like if you have a full choke in, you have to really understand your pattern a little bit better, because it feels like when I have a full choke in, my gun shoots like a little low and left, and I don't have to really worry about that as much with like a modified. You just aim on the bird. But if you get a bird at 10 yards and you're not aiming low and left, or counteracting for that, aiming high and right, then like you're gonna miss the bird. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. You gotta have your mechanics and know your pattern in those full chokes. But once you get it down, he's not getting out of there.
Yep.
That's why we shoot him.
It might be interesting, Jordan. I keep track of lots of data on my hunting. So I know how many ducks I've shot, how many I've lost, what my shooting percentage is. And I know all of the numbers of my last 10, 11, 12 years. And so it would be interesting if I did full choke for an entire season just to see difference, because the last 2 years I've only lost 2 ducks each of the last 2 years. So I just don't lose ducks hardly at all. And so, and I typically run a modified full season. I have shot improved during teal season with no problem, but I tend to go up. Like we shot 6s this last year during teal season. And then, move down for big duck. But every chart that I have seen, as far as a modified, it's highly effective up over 40 yards, and it's highly effective, down to 20, 15 yards. And the full choke, if you believe the data that are creating all these charts, the diameter of a full choke under 20 yards is just not ideal. Now, it doesn't mean you can't kill them. It doesn't mean people don't. But just mathematically speaking, from all the research I've done, it shows that your modified is going to be more highly effective from 15 to 35 than a full choke is. And so that's why I'm so staunch about not going away from a full choke, because I need someone to prove it to me other than, well, I don't want to wound them, because I don't have problems losing birds. I just don't.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I sit.
I'll say I think that a big difference too is, having dogs, and you did have a sample size there with your dog not having a dog for part of your season last year, and then but like for Jake, you guys don't hunt with a dog, right?
We used to, but just haven't been, and we still do sometimes when one of our buddies has one, but we just haven't been in a position to get one and train him and do all the things you got to do. But no, here recently we haven't.
Yeah, because that brings chasing birds to a whole new level when you don't have a dog doing it for you.
Well, the terrain we're in also is just brutal as far as chasing cripples, whether it be these dead ends I'm talking about that's full of smartweed and this knee-deep muck. You're not getting him if he's getting out of there. And the timber, if he goes down 30 yards, you can't see him anymore, if he's in some thick stuff. So it's kind of a different deal than when you're, in a field or more wide open or a river where he's going to stay in those banks,
Yeah.
But we don't have a big-time problem with cripples. We just, like I said, we've been on some chases through the timber on some.
Oh yeah, awesome.
But I agree with Elliot. If you're shooting them mainly 15 to 30, you'd probably definitely do better with a modified. I'm more of a believer in the pattern master than I am a full pattern master, whatever you want to shoot. But I'm a big believer in those. They've changed my hunting game or my shooting game more than anything. I couldn't dream of not shooting those, ever again.
Yeah, I've always used just my standard choke, so maybe I'll have to look into something different.
Yeah, the pattern master is like what drew me in. The only thing, they're the only ones that are truly different, at least from what I've seen, is they shorten your shot string. So like most standard chokes are stringing your shot string out 15, 20 yards, or 15, 20 feet, I should say. And pattern master is shortening it down to 5, 10 feet. So your whole pattern's hitting him at the same time. And you can tell a big difference when you compare the two, like shooting a cripple in the water. A typical choke, is going to have shells in a much longer range than a pattern master. It's all going to hit in the same place. I could tell it a huge difference when I started shooting it, but it's definitely not for everybody, because that short shot string also gives you less room for error.
Yeah, you'd see that on like passing shots. It might be harder because like you think about a string, going across there. It's like them running into like a bed sheet or something. When you have that whole.
Yeah, if you're off a little bit, that it's still got more coming behind it to back you up.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an interesting way to looking at it. So, you got something you want to add on here? Or?
No, I don't think so. It's a good discussion. No.
Awesome.
I'm good.
Well, I think that wraps up kind of what I had on the outline to talk about. I'm gonna give you this time here, Jake, to any last words you want to say, and along with that, let everyone know where they can find you on social media, as far as anything you got going on, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. And we really appreciate you coming on. Definitely a lot of fun talking about Arkansas duck hunting, and hopefully someday I'll make it out at some point and get on one of these flooded timber hunts I've been hearing so much about. So I'll hand it off to you now.
Well, I sure appreciate you guys having me on, and y'all are more than welcome anytime. Y'all want to come get in the timber, just give us a shout and we'll try to make something happen. But now everybody can find us on YouTube at Chasing Green, obviously, and then also on Instagram at _ChasingGreen_. And hopefully we'll have more content coming over the summer, and then back with the duck videos in October, November area.
Awesome.
We're hoping to make some trips this year and get maybe in North Dakota and Oklahoma and start out a little earlier than normal. And so hopefully those will be good videos.
Good stuff. That's
well, if you make it through Kansas, let me know, because we're September, October, we're all into it.
For sure, man. Yeah, that's definitely one of my bucket lists is in that area. So maybe we can make something happen.
awesome.
That'd be great.
All right, folks. Thanks again for joining in for another one. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm Jordan from Ducks Gun Chronicles, Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting, and Jake from Chasing Green, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Alrighty, live stream crew. Thanks for sticking in there and watching us on the live stream and seeing the behind the scenes for the podcast recording. We got a lot of questions in here, and really appreciate everybody jumping on and staying active in the chat. And huge shout out to the Alaskan Viking. Appreciate the super chat there. I'm glad I enabled that recently, and now I can. That's cool. So. And yeah, what's up, Chris, Jason, Magnolia, TJ? Good to hear everybody in here. Got High Prairie Sportsman, and I saw Thomas, Virginia Outdoors Unlimited was here, and Tim. Good seeing you as well. I'll have to get Tim, since he's the creator of the decal. I'm going to send him one for free as well. So the least I can do. But yeah. One other guy that was in here I wanted to give a shout out to. Now I can't remember who it was, but who was it? Oh yeah, Bob Sweeney, because he always says best part of my week starts now. So I'm glad that the best part of your week we could live stream this week. So I think we'll be doing them here and there a little bit more often. We kind of cut out of the live streams for a while there, but yeah, it looks like Elliot's camera and video is holding strong with the internet, so that's super awesome to see that. But yeah, and we had a pretty good showing tonight. Peaked around, I don't even know what it peaked around at, but thanks everybody for tuning in.
30, I think 29.
Yeah, yep, and everybody's still here listening to me ramble. I don't know why, but thanks fellas. We're gonna jump off here the live stream.
You guys
now.
are sitting around, you want to get in a quick one more super chat for old Okie. Throw that down there. Get this guy from Super Chats going so we can buy more Oak Nut stickers for it.
Yeah, they'll all go to Oak Nut stickers. All right, guys, we're jumping off the live stream. Thanks again, fellas. We'll see you again soon.